Okay, this is the 2015 BMW R1200RS. This is my father's bike that he just picked up and bought, and it's one of the first ones in Ontario, so I get to ride it, and I get to review what I like about it, what I don't, and whatnot. So probably just get riding it and then pull over and go over some stuff a little bit after. Ignition. It's got a key fob that's in my pocket, and basically all I do, ignition on. And it is like a car where you just need it in your pocket and you don't do anything. Basically, you have to be within 5 feet or whatever. I've never tested it, but you get in and you go. He's got the GPS set up. Everything, even the gas cap, has to do with the proximity of the ignition of the key fob, not a keyless ride, as it says. And it's basically just to hop on and start her up. So already it is the Boxer twin, the opposing twin. He had a R1200 GS, a 2013 model, which was the first year that they had the partially water-cooled engine. This is supposedly the same engine, it's supposed to make 125 horsepower. Torque figures, I don't know, but already it's super comfortable. And it's got a lot of torque. It's pretty quick. Windshield, he's got it down, that's up, okay. Yeah, it's got quite a bit of torque, in my opinion. Now I'm coming off of an inline 4 Yamaha FZ6, which is fast enough in its own right, but this is just, feels quite a bit faster. Now this is supposed to have shift assist, so I'm supposed to be able to shift with no clutch input. It's a little jerky. It gets, so like, first to second it's a little jerky, second to third is when it starts to smooth out. You're supposed to be able to go down as well, but I know from riding this before, it's really jerky going down, especially when you're down here. My dad said that he's put it down into first from second, and it stalled out on him. Something cool you might notice, the RPM, as it's warming up, it limits it. So just before it was down to about 6,000, it's gone to 8,000. It's like it's got a built-in warm-up feature, so you can't over-rev it when the engine is warming up. But you gotta hold on, because it wants to go, for sure. I don't know how loud this is. But it's deceivingly fast. I mean, that was up to 120 already accidentally. It's a six gears. I find when I'm cruising in between 80 and 100, I don't need to be out of 4th or 5th. It's really happy down there, and I suppose that's the big displacement speaking. All the controls are BMW standard. He's got the one upgraded model with the dynamic road settings. I believe it just comes in road and rain if you don't get the upgrade. With the upgrade, you get dynamic and then a user settable one. Set in dynamic right now. I'll probably throw that in road in a little bit here. Just go off the beaten track a little bit. This bike, now I'm coming off a clunky geared Yamaha for the most part, but it shifts incredibly smoothly. It's just, especially with the hydraulic clutch, it's effortless to say the least. There, see, when I'm up in going from second and up, the clutchless shifting going on the up at least is super smooth. You don't notice it at all. It's got Brembo brakes all around, and like I said before, it's got the connected braking. So if I hit the front brake, the rear will come on at a certain percentage as well, and you can actually feel it working if you just rest your foot on the rear brake without actually pushing it. And you hold the front brake, you get kind of an ABS feel out of it. Our revs go all the way up to 9,000 now. You guys can see that. You noticed me do this before. It's an adjustable windshield, not electric or anything. It's down. That's down sport mode or whatever, I guess. This is up. It's a 4-position windshield, but that means that you've got these 2 positions, and if you take some screws out, you can gain yourself another position there. You can move it once again. Oops. Maybe just get out of here. Just on the power, it's all there. It's got a traditional fork instead of the telly lever or whatever it was that BMW had before. It's an inverted fork. We'll see that when I pull over in a little while. Opposing boxer really gives it some haunches on it. It's got like a big chest. It's really wide up front, and it's not as wide as the R1200 GS was. And I've ridden that a few times when my dad had it. It's definitely not as wide, and it's way more kind of nimble and super comfortable. Seat, quite comfortable in my opinion. It's leaning me forward a little bit, but it's actually way plusher than my my Yamaha seat for the most part, and I could see myself putting in quite a few. And I've just come off of a 100-kilometer ride or so on my other bike, and this one I really feel like I could put double that on without any comfort or discomfort for sure. But I mean, you always say that you sit in a bike, it feels comfortable enough, and then after you put 150k on it, you're ready to get off for the most part, unless you go upgrade to a Russell or something of that nature. Things I don't like the reach associated with everything. So if I'm gonna switch modes on the fly here, it's right here with my throttle hand, it's a real finagle to get my thumb over there and reach to it. But I really think that's something that you can get used to just if you own the bike for a little while. Same with this side, it's a little bit of a reach, but again, it's really not that bad, and it's something you just get used to if you own the thing. So this is the first iteration of this bike, and my dad jumped on it, put a down payment on at the motorcycle show we were at, and it arrived a couple months later. He's only put 200 kilometers on it. I've put 30 or 40 plus this ride. I feel really comfortable on it. I really like it. It's super nimble, and whether they're brand new tires, and I'm on some squared off set myself, but it really it's weightless and effortless when it comes to flicking it around and moving about. I find first gear is fairly short, and things really don't pick up till you kick it in second, and that's when it really takes off on you. Analog speedo, which I really like, but we've lost the analog tack, and I am not a fan of digital tacks myself. Just doesn't do it for me. It's hard to read, kind of. The other stuff is decently laid out. It's a little tough for me to read. The speedo is, I guess, main concern, and I'm fine with reading that. But I do find it's a little cramped in there. We've got our odometer, we've got a secondary readout. Right now it's reading liters per 100 kilometer. We've got the electronic suspension adjustment and the throttle mode that we want. And it's all packed in there as one with the RPM meter. And it would be nice if you could have kind of select one main thing to have and then cycle through for the others. But these are picky points. I really like having the gear readout as well. So to put it in a new mode, hit mode, I can go through it, user, rain, road, and then you stay off the brakes, close the throttle, and that's it. You have swapped. And if I go to my, where are we here? This is my suspension, set to road, close the throttle, and it should switch. Or if I just let it go, it switches, that's right. And this is supposed to change, if you leave it in dynamic, it's supposed to change depending on the road conditions, what you're riding like, and all things like that. which I've yet to see. I mean, it's a brand new bike. We haven't really taken it out in the rain yet or anywhere where it's going to have to really have to adjust. We've really only been on nice roads on nice days. Yeah, so down to second. Let's see what she got here. Oh, the brakes. Oh, those are powerful brakes. Yeah. Definitely, I have not gotten high enough to feel it stop pulling yet. I guess it's the 1200 cc's, 125 horsepower, as I said before. I don't know about torque, but I'm sure it's high. Something I have noticed, and this might have been, it was the other day when I was riding it. I did notice when I really pinned it this one time, I'd get a little bit of light feeling I was in dynamic mode. And my steering would go light every gear shift, and I know that's the power, and that's trying to hold it down, but it really gave me a little bit of a wobble every single time that happened to me. A little unnerving. My dad said he could see the rear end kind of, at least see me getting a little wobble out of it. It's got a steering damper, and whether it's just the first time on the bike, I mean, my Yamaha doesn't really pick the nose up on the ready. It's 97 horsepower compared to this. But it definitely, I feel like this would lift the nose through multiple gears if given the opportunity to. So first to second, a little clunky, clutchless, second to third, a lot smoother. Third to fourth, you don't even feel it. Though I think if you're calling it clutchless shifting, it could be a little bit more perfected, I think. Like I said, I can do all that on my Yamaha, and it's smoother on this for sure, but the shifting in general with the clutch is smoother. So I don't know if that's my gearbox, my transmission or not, but I can definitely upshift without my clutch as easily on my Yamaha as I can on this. So and I know that's supposed to be relatively a new thing they've come out with. Whether that needs perfecting in the later model years or not, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're really trying to accomplish with it. So this bike would be just awesome on a highway, I think. I mean, the wind protection is not bad, and this is the OEM windshield, and you can always go with something aftermarket that's really designed to get rid of the wind on you. And this is by no means the like the K1300 ST or whatever it is. It's supposed to feel like you're not in the wind in the least bit. This is more of a sport bike, and it's definitely a sport touring. And I think the wind right now for me is just fine. It's not buffeting my head. I stand up a little bit. I'm in some clearer air, but it's not too loud. You can definitely feel it off you. When I drop it down here, it's probably louder in the mic, but it's more directed at my neck. Still not a lot of buffeting though. I mean, I'm only doing 90 to 100, but super easy to change this at least. And then, like I said, you get the two extra positions if you pull some screws out. ABS braking, obviously. That kind of comes on standard with most bikes nowadays. When I see a bike without ABS, I really think to myself, why is that not provided? Why is that not on there? It's really an unparalleled safety measure when it comes to stopping. It's got electronic cruise control. I had it's still set in the on position, and it's really simple to use. I really like it. When I rode his GS along the highway a couple times, it just, you set it and forget it. You set it, that's it, take my hand off. I can do whatever I feel like with both hands, and it's easy to take off. You touch the clutch, it comes off. You touch the brake, it comes off. You push the throttle forward, it comes off. And yeah, super intuitive, super easy to use. And when you've got it on, you just press this. You can press it forward or pull it back, and it'll accelerate or decelerate you something like 2 kilometers per hour per press. It's made for cruising. Little to no vibration through the bars, really, that I'm noticing. It's comfortable for me, and I'm still comfortable on the seat. I have yet to really feel uncomfortable. No issues with heat. I noticed the other day that with the wide haunches on this, my legs are way warmer on this than they get on my half-naked bike. And it's just the width providing the wind protection, at least, which is nice on cold days, but I definitely would have liked a little bit more airflow the other day when I was riding. I think it was like 25 degrees Celsius or so. The acceleration on this is really effortless, and I didn't really say this before. I know it's a twin, and the torque is there down under and everything. Like I said, first is really short. You don't feel anything till second, then it takes off. And then yeah, heavy on the brakes because this is family zone. When I get back off this and I go back home tonight on my bike, I know the first 20 minutes is really going to feel every time I take off like I'm working the bike, because I don't make any power till over 8,000 RPM. This red line's at 9, so it's a way different riding experience, but I like it, and I think it'd be really nice in town. Like I said, it's a really well planted bike. It's really got a nice center of gravity. I've got a 32-inch inseam. My dad is a tough 30, and we can both flat-footed in town. Me bent knee, him just flat-footing it. Yeah, so it's a really nice bike in town, and the clutch play is so smooth. It's hydraulic, so it must be. I don't feel a very sharp bite point. I've done a lot of kilometers on a bike, so maybe that's some clutch experience talking there, but it's definitely a forgiving enough bike, forgiving enough clutch. Something I'd like is a little more noise out of the exhaust. This is the OEM exhaust. I wouldn't mind a little bit sharper, a little louder. Maybe that's me being a 25-year-old. Maybe the demographic buying this bike isn't exactly into the louder exhaust notes, but I like hearing it, and I like being heard when I'm riding. So take that as you will. The exhaust could be a little louder. Downshifting, let's see, one-handed. This continues good. One-handed if I slow down a bit. Fourth to third. Oh, so smooth. The key is to let off the throttle. If I'm on the throttle a little bit, I'm going to go back up to fourth. I'm on the throttle a little bit while I'm downshifting. It's a little bit more of a clunk, but if you let off the throttle 100% downshift, it is super smooth. I've always liked the suspension on these bikes. I've never had an issue with them. I like the firmness of, at least that I had on the GS. This isn't too bad either. Feel the traction control cutting in there a little bit. Oh, this is a bit of a tight area. Stay on your own side of the road. But I really feel planted with the suspension. It's not something that upsets me with any bump. I've been through some bumpy corners, and my Yamaha has awful suspension. So I've gotten some good experience with really being unsettled when it comes to going around a corner and hitting bumps. But this planted, there's no issues whatsoever, and I think you wouldn't have any problem getting a knee down with this bike. I mean, I know people have gotten knee down with the 1200 GS. So if you can do that on that, you can 100% do that on this. It should be clean corners. And the third is a 50 km/h corner, as it says. Not a single issue. That was well over 80. Hold its line, and what are you doing, bud? Now, I haven't gone down a dirt road yet and really tried to pin it and see what it does. I did that on his 1200 GS, and it behaved beautifully. I don't have any doubts that this would as well, but I just haven't gotten a chance to do it, and nor do I really want to do it with this brand new bike. It'd be really nice to see this set up as a touring machine, because there are lighter, smaller bikes for in town that are better suited. With the smoothness of this, I really don't have any issues in town. But touring wise, I think this would just eat up the kilometers on the highway for sure. And then when you get to your campsite, pull your bags off and ride around like a sport bike for sure. Well, there it is. You can see what it looks like. I really like the styling. You can see how wide the haunches are. It's got upgraded colors on it or something like that. You pay a little extra for it. It's got the gold anodized forks, which my dad is a big fan of. Chrome exhaust, a little bit much in my opinion, but like I was talking about before, you can swap it out, and I'm sure there'll be aftermarket mufflers and things like that for it. Clean it up a little bit. I think that the headers are coated in something because they have yet to turn any form of yellow with the kilometers we've put on it. It's about 280 by now, I think. You can see the Brembo brakes. They got stainless brake lines, they're super powerful. I believe those are 4 piston calipers a piece, if I'm not mistaken. Single-sided swing arm, no chain, which I'm a huge fan of. It's shaft drive. I've got going through a lot of crap with the chain on my bike right now, over there, and it's super annoying. This, you oil it once every like 20,000 kilometers or something, and that's it. No issues whatsoever. You can see the windshield here where we've got our adjusting points. So this is up, this is down, and then here you've got the extra bolt holes, so you can bring it down a little further, I guess, and then have 2 extra positions supposedly. But typically just ride with it up. Super easy to adjust. Just hand adjust, not electric like some of the higher end models. Sitting on it, so I'm like proximity right now, and the key fob, if I've got it here, has you can arm it with that's locked. So there's some settings you can go through, and you can basically make it so an alarm goes off. And it comes with, or it doesn't come with, they're obviously optional extras, but it comes with a top case and side cases, and this bike is so new that they don't even have them yet. It's got the non-symmetrical or asymmetrical, I guess is what you call that, headlights, like the S1000RR. Standard bulbs, not LED upgrades or halogen. I would have liked to see LED standard on this, being such a new bike, but nonetheless, it's fine. It's got a center stand I'm a big fan of. Even though I ride the semi-sport bike, I like center stands, just make it super easy to work on stuff. Sitting on it, I've got the key fob in my pocket, so everything is set up. Standard controls for the most part. You know, you've got turn ABS on and off. We've got our electric suspension adjustment, cruise control on and off, electric cruise like I was talking about. Change your modes, heated grip as standards, or as standard on these, and they work great from what I rode on the other ones. Adjustable levers, you can bring them in and out. Both sides, clutch and front brake, are adjustable. A little bit better look at the dash. I don't know if it's going to show up. If I turn my ignition on, if it can be seen with this camera the way it is. But that's a close-up of the dash, what we've got here. So you've got service is due in 700 kilometers, I guess. We've got a range. If we scroll through the info, we've got our fuel consumption 1, fuel consumption 2, speed. That's the average speed, I think. That is, and it has to be actually running for this to work, but that's the tire pressure monitor, what date it is, what the oil level's at, style. I've yet to figure out what style means, but whatever. Temperature, engine temperature, fuel range, and we're back to where we were before. Really nicely set up mounting for the GPS, lockable GPS as well, and this controls everything. There we go. Controls everything. I don't know how to use it that well, but whatever. Seat, super comfy, like I was talking about before. It's got the little area that you can rest on. My mom has yet to be on it to report back as to what the pillion's like, but it feels pretty comfy to me. But yeah, it's a half-faired model, as you can see. You've got the engine is right there, no plastics around it really, so it's a half-faired, kind of like my FZ6, but I really like the styling of it better.
it tricks you into thinking it's a full-fared model. And yeah, looks great in my opinion. Performed great. I don't know what other color combos you can get, and this is like stock everything right now. There's no farkles or upgrades as of yet, but there's a couple other color combinations, and I think my dad paid a little extra for the silver on the tank or something like that, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, so that's the bike. We'll for sure update in the comments, things like that, as we progress and as we ride it a little longer. My dad, I'm sure, will report back on stuff. He doesn't like how far forward the handlebars are. He's got some bar backs to put on. I don't mind the reach. Really doesn't bother me. But he's got a little bit shorter arms, shorter legs, and he would like to be back a little further because he feels he's got too much weight on his wrists. But I myself find it super comfortable, and I could definitely put a lot of kilometers in a day on this puppy for sure. Just don't drop it on those engine heads. And yeah, if you guys got any questions, just throw them up in the comments and I'll answer them best I can. I know this is one of the first times this has been reviewed by an actual owner, not just some moto journalist. So hopefully we've got some insights for you other than just what they're told and what they've got going on. But yeah, thanks for watching.